Hi, I'm Emily Burmis, and this is 120 Seconds to Better Leadership. So, wanted to talk today about some of the talent shortage strategies that I'm seeing organizations use. Mixed results, and I'm always tracking, what's working for different clients, so I can share what seems to be a best practice. But here's some ideas that I'm seeing. We know that there's a talent shortage at all levels of the organization, from front force labor to executive level C-suite folks. I can't fully explain why this is happening. I just know it's the thing I hear about most in my practice. So some of the things that I'm seeing organizations do to kind of stave off, this everybody leaving for more money, and it's true. I've seen, if somebody stays in an organization, at best they're going to get 8% maybe a year. That's if you're lucky. And I'm seeing people get like 50% increases by just going to work somewhere else. How sustainable that is, I'm not sure for organizations, but the people poaching for money is really crazy right now. So part of what organizations can do to try to be more attractive, a couple things. One, I'm seeing work flexibility or part-time. So even for professional roles that would normally be considered only a full-time position, companies are getting more flexible again. I mean, we saw in the movie 9 to 5 in the 80s, right? Job share, she does the AM, she does the PM, or here's one job, we're going to break it into 2 part-time jobs. Saves a little bit on benefits, because you don't have to pay them. And it takes 2 people to manage, but as long as they're both strong performers, I've seen it work really well. I think this is particularly attractive for new parents, right? They had a baby and they both work full-time, and maybe mom or dad decide one of us should really go part-time, to take the stress off the family. And so these are really creative ways to make it like, well, the company across the street isn't doing that for me, but this company will. And so it becomes a really attractive offer. This is actually part of how I landed my first university job. It was full-time, but they made it so flexible. I just had a baby. They made it so flexible. It was like, what am I going to find that's more flexible than this? And they were really thoughtful about making that easy for me. So flexibility. I'm also seeing organizations that perhaps can't get someone full-time because they just can't find the people, but they are finding people that are willing to moonlight. So if they want to put in 2-3 hours a night on your project work, I'm seeing this actually work really well. People, as long as they're getting their full-time job done, and they're doing this at night, it's kind of a win-win for the person that may need to pick up some extra bucks, for a repair or a new home, and you get some, well-experienced labor at, usually a fair price, but better than not having anyone. Stay interviews are being a big deal right now. So if you get the sense, and it's funny how often people get the sense that someone's thinking about leaving. People think they hide it so well, and there's so many tells. So companies usually have a sense someone's looking. If you get a sense someone's looking, or you hear that someone is, sort of dissatisfied, do a stay interview. Ask them how they're feeling about their job, what's working, what's not working. Are they happy? Do they have everything that they need? Just those kinds of questions that get that person thinking, oh, gee, well, if I didn't, is this the time to ask? Because better before they're out the door. I am seeing, which is interesting, people doing like a boomerang. So someone leaves for better money. They see the grass isn't necessarily greener. It might not have been worth the money because the culture's not as good or the leadership isn't as good, and they'll actually boomerang back to their other organizations. So, this is good news for companies that have a good culture, because people might find that when they leave, the grass wasn't greener and they want to come back, and as long as they left on good terms, good, they boomeranged. I also think, this is my last one, doing a really thoughtful job of succession planning. I am amazed how far companies have come in the succession planning work. 20 years ago, I mean, it's like you're all a certain age, who's taking your place in a couple of years, and they're like, we haven't even thought about it. And it's like, it's past time to think about it. And now companies are just being, I think, extremely thoughtful about giving people rotations, letting them know kind of where they see, where they see the career going. Because if they know you're investing in them, developing them, preparing them for something bigger in the future, well, why would they want to give that up? Especially if they've been working, for a couple of years to get to that next level, and they know they're going to get there. Why would you leave after doing all that work? So for most people, it makes them more attracted to stay if they know that you're going to make sure that you have maximized their potential, that they have growth opportunities. I know those are not always unlimited, but do what you can to do thoughtful succession planning. It's the right thing to do for the organization, and it can be a pretty good talent retention strategy too.